Hey guys, today I thought I would talk a little bit about some of the Mbuna that I have growing out down here in the fish room. So here's my 75 gallon, and I have about, if my count is correct, about 75 of the albino redfin zebra. So these guys are growing out, and you know, the biggest ones are probably, the biggest, there's a few males that are probably hitting about almost 2.5 inches now, I guess. And you know, these guys are great. They're doing awesome. They're from probably 4 different spawns, I would say, and they're all mixed in together. And I also have 5 elongatus lingangala in here. And if you remember from my last video, I had talked about how they were in the 29 gallon, and I was planning on separating the group. So I did go ahead and do that, and I have a small breeding group in the other 75 gallon that I have. So they're in the tank with all the rest of the breeding Mbuna. And I just have the smaller guys in here, just gonna grow them out. Gonna find out who's male and who's female, and just kind of go from there, just decide if there's any that I'd like to keep, or maybe I'll just go ahead and sell those guys as well if there's some extras. But all in all, I really enjoy this tank. It's been a lot of fun growing out this group, and I've actually had pretty good interest in the albino redfin zebra. I know they're not the most uncommon Mbuna in the hobby, and they're fairly easy to get around my area, but I've probably sold around 40 or so in the past. The breeding group that I have, they breed like crazy. There's usually there's always 1 female holding, usually 2, and you know, I've actually stopped collecting some of the fry from that group because I have so many right now. So this time of year, in my past experience with breeding fish and selling fish, you know, it tends to really slow down once May hits, and that's kind of what's happened again. Everything's kind of busy up until mid-April or even till the end of April. And as soon as the really nice weather hits around this area, usually people are out doing other activities, enjoying the outdoors, enjoying the nice weather, of course. So, you know, things will slow down from now on, probably until September, October, and then you'll start to see a little bit of increase in interest. But that doesn't bother me one bit. I actually really enjoy this tank, and I've enjoyed watching these guys grow. So the longer they're in here, the bigger they'll get for when, you know, people become more interested in their fish again. So that's just kind of the way it is. And then usually through October until April, it's usually fairly steady for me. That's kind of been my experience from the past anyway. So let's see, what else can I tell you about these guys? So yeah, I guess that's really all I have to talk about with these guys. You know, they are starting to get some really nice color, and you know, the group's getting along great. There's really no aggression in here, or very little aggression. There's the odd little bit of fin damage, but it's very, very minor. So, you know, this is a really easy tank to take care of. Everybody is so healthy in here, and just been enjoying kind of watching them grow up. And you know, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to just readjust the camera a little bit, and we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at another group of fish that I have growing out, and then we're also going to take a look at the parent groups of both of these types of fish, or actually all 3 of these types of fish that I have down here growing out, and that'll give you kind of a better idea of what they're going to look like when they reach maturity. Alright, so down here in my 40 breeder, I have about 40 Pseudotropheus interruptus, and these guys are probably just over 1 inch in size, some of the bigger ones anyway. And this group is from 2 different spawns. I also have probably 4 or 5 of the smaller albino redfin zebra in here. Originally I had a group in here with these guys, and the males are quite aggressive, so they got to the food a lot quicker than the interruptus have. So I ended up, once they got a little bit bigger, I took the bigger ones out and I added them to the group in the 75 gallon that you just saw. And I just left a few of the smaller ones in here that were around the same size. So now it's kind of balanced it all out a little bit, and these guys have a little bit of a better chance at getting the food. But again, these guys are doing fantastic, and this is the largest group that I have growing out right now. I have probably another 3 batches of fry in a couple of 10-gallon tanks, and probably for a total of around 60 to 70 altogether. So those guys are going to take a little bit longer to grow out, but I'm hoping kind of by September, October, these guys will be a nice size. I'm not really in a hurry to get rid of them or sell them or anything like that. I'm just hoping they'll be a nice size and they'll be all ready for when people are kind of interested in you know, filling up their tanks again and kind of looking for some fish for their tanks. So that's kind of the plan with these guys. Lots of space in here for them to grow. And again, the aggression is minimal. The group is doing really, really well. So kind of fun watching these guys as well. It's my first time growing these guys out, and I have a beautiful group of G1 Interruptus that I'm going to show you here in a minute. And you know, I'm really it's really kind of interesting fish because, you know, the males turn a beautiful dark blue with some light blue kind of barring on them, I guess you would say, and the females stay orange. But when they're small like this, they all start out orange. So it'd be kind of fun to watch them transform a little bit and turn into you know, some of the males start to get their adult coloration. But yeah, these guys are great, and you know, continue to grow them up and continue to grow out the smaller groups, and hopefully in a few months I'll have an update for you guys and we'll show them to you when they're a little bit bigger. So let's move on, and once again I'm just going to readjust the camera and we'll take a look at my breeding Mbuna tank. Alright guys, so here's my 75-gallon, and this is holding all of my adult breeding groups. So in here I have my albino redfin zebra group. And just coming into the camera here, there's the adult male. We also have the Interruptus group. You can see a beautiful male in the back there, and the females are orange. There's a couple females here and here. In this group I also have some G1 electric yellow labs, and those guys, they're a good size, but they've just started to spawn for me, so I only have a very small batch of babies from them. I know some of the males, it's been a little bit of a struggle for them to get the weight on, so I'm not sure if that's kind of a reason why they're not interested in breeding, but I did have them in a different tank and it was kind of the same result. They aren't really too interested in breeding for some reason, but I do have a small spawn for them, like I said, and hopefully just as they grow and kind of settle into this tank a little more, hopefully I'm going to see some more breeding action from them. But when the males are all lit up, they are absolutely gorgeous. They have a beautiful black markings on these fish. So females as well. So very good quality. I really enjoy the group. And I made a mistake. When I said I was going to readjust the camera and we were going to look at this tank, I said that I had a parent group of Elongatus lingangala, but what I meant to say was I have the larger ones that I've had in the 29-gallon. Those guys are now in here. So just at the back over here, there's one of the dominant males back there, and there's another, that's a female there. But you know, these guys still have a little bit of growing to do. They don't really color up too much in this tank. They do a little bit like that guy just did there once they kind of get in breeding mode, but I think once they put on a little bit more size, we're going to see a little bit better color from these guys. And you know, they have already had a spawn. I didn't keep the spawn that these guys had, but you know, I'm just waiting again to kind of see what happens with them. So hopefully they're going to settle in here as well and produce some fry. So really excited about that because I do love those guys. I think they're a really beautiful Mbuna. So definitely going to do some more updates on those guys, and also on the tank as things kind of progress. You know, these are kind of basically the 4 groups of Mbuna that I'm breeding right at the moment. And you know, things might change a little bit down the road, but for right now, you know, I'm very happy that everybody is happy and healthy and doing really well. You know, this tank, for the most part, the fish get along fairly well. It's crowded enough that the aggression is not really an issue. The only thing I've had a little bit of trouble with in this tank is the Pseudotropheus interruptus. I actually have 4 males in here, and at some point I may end up having to take 1 or 2 of the males out. They are quite aggressive towards each other and quite territorial. So you can see that dominant male is just kind of sitting up here over the fake rock. That's kind of his territory, but beautiful fish. I really like these guys, and I really hope that there's you know, some good interest for these fish you know, in the future once I get a group that's up to size. So but yeah, that's it for the aggression. I may have to kind of thin those guys out a little bit, but for right now it's not too bad. And you know, I think they're pretty hardy and they can handle it for right now, but we'll kind of see how it goes as time as things progress. So yeah, I think that's going to kind of do it for the update. I just kind of, you know, wanted to show you guys what I've been up to and kind of what's been going on here in the fish room. So very exciting for me. You know, I've just been enjoying you know, that all the fish are healthy and you know, some of the breeding groups are getting bigger. It's a lot of fun, you know, meeting people in the hobby and having good quality fish to sell to people. I really enjoy that. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for the update. I probably talked long enough. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the bell notification so you guys get my updated videos as soon as they come out. And you know, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. And we'll see you again real soon.